Good evening and welcome to Dateline. I am Esther Oputa. The Grace and Progress Family Chapel, Asaba, today held its annual Thanksgiving service with a call on believers to cultivate the habit of giving God praise always in obedience to his commandments. Mora Isokma reports.
Sermon titled Thinking for Thanking, the General Overseer of the Grace and Progress Family Chapel, Asaba, Bishop Chuka Agwegbo, said thanksgiving was proof that one had received blessings from God, adding that God himself commanded thanksgiving as a reminder that all things came from him. The cleric, citing Psalm 107 and Psalm 150 verse 1 to 6, said it was mandatory to thank God, both in little and in plenty, as ingratitude was a sign of foolishness, and thanksgiving attracted more blessings and increase from the great provider. He enjoined believers to be like the leper in the Bible, who was the only one among the 10 that were cleansed, that returned to thank Jesus and received total wholeness.
So why are we thanking God? To show him that we are not fools. Praise the Lord. If you are not praising him, you are producing at below installed capacity.
The service featured thanksgiving, choral renditions, and dance presentations. Mora Isokma reporting.
Christians have been admonished to cultivate the habits of giving to avoid lack and servitude. Pastor Ebuka Oraidu gave the admonition in a sermon at the Christ Relative Deliverance and Healing Ministry, Asaba. Gifts Unosha reports.
Pastor Oraidu, in his message, Breaking the Yoke of Servitude, defined servitude as a condition in which an individual lacks liberty, especially to determine his or her course of action or way of life. He enjoined believers to practice the secrets of giving thanks to God, giving God their best substance, and giving to his servants. The clergyman cited the biblical example of King Solomon in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, where he gave the best offering to God and attracted God's presence.
In order to connect to God's throne room, we must be a giver. There's no prayer. Prayer will connect you to God, but will not give you his word as his access to his word, strong room. What gives you access to God's strong word is giving to God, giving to his ministers. And when in presence, you are blessed. What I'm to you in this Thanksgiving, learn to give to God. Learn to do what? Give to God. It's good to attend God dance, but learn to give to God.
Pastor Timothy charged the people to use everything in their possession to serve and support the work of God at any given time.
If only begotten Son, and today in response, God have gotten the trillions of worshippers today. So, to support what the man of God just said, a giver never lack. When you give, you're expecting. And God will use this gift to make way. God used this gift to beautify the life of someone.
Highlights of the service were choral renditions and thanksgiving. Gift Unosha reporting.
The state head of service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, has directed all public and civil servants who have traveled abroad without requisite permission or whose authorization had expired to report back to their duty posts within 2 weeks. The initiative is aimed at enforcing discipline and accountability in the state's public service. Mr. Bayoko has also mandated all ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to compile a list of officers who have traveled abroad since 2018, indicating whether they obtained proper authorization or have overstayed their approved period, and a comprehensive report submitted by December 2. The head of service warned that accounting officers, directors, and immediate supervisors would bear direct accountability for any regulatory breaches, including the recovery of salaries disbursed to absent officers from the responsible officials. According to a government circular number TM357/T1/46 dated November 11, failure to comply with the directive would lead to immediate and decisive disciplinary measures, including summary dismissal. Reaffirming the administration's commitment to high standards and ethical governance, Mr. Bayoko called on all MDAs to ensure prompt and complete compliance, stressing that the integrity of the service hinged on collective adherence to rules and regulations. The head of service also implored public servants to respect established protocols for overseas travel, while also reiterating the importance of cultivating a culture of responsibility and compliance. He maintained that officers' dedication was paramount to maintaining the excellence and dependability of the Delta State Public Service. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori recently voiced strong dissatisfaction over officers who leave their duty posts for overseas trip without permission, yet continue to draw salaries, undermining the integrity of the service. The House of Representatives will tomorrow lead an awareness march across major streets in Abuja, the nation's capital, as part of its commitment to eradicating all forms of gender-based violence. This is as the world marks the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Built to kick off at 8 a.m., the march will commence at the Speaker's Car Park, National Assembly Complex, and end up at the Nigeria Police Force headquarters. According to a statement by the spokesman for the House, Mr. Akin Rotimi, the march will bring together over 1,000 participants, including representatives and members of the public, on a symbolic walk from the National Assembly to the headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, said the march and other associated activities reflected the lawmakers' resolve and call for an action against gender-based violence head-on. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has urged President Bola Tinubu to, as a matter of urgency, address the hardship, especially hunger, confronting Nigerians. The NANS clerk of the Senate, Mr. Abdul Yakin Odunaya, who made the call in a statement in Abeokuta, Ogun State, declared that economic deprivation was killing the people, adding that the current administration had forced Nigerians to endure needless poverty and hunger. The statement noted that the President Tinubu administration simultaneously eliminated fuel subsidies and the floating of national currency, which had further sunk Nigerians into economic despair, increased hunger, and hiked the cost of living for millions of people. It acknowledged that some students had benefited from the student loan program implemented by the administration, however, calling for a complete economic reform so that Nigerians could experience the good governance that the President had promised. The Minister of Defense, Mr. Badaru Abubakar, has called for robust support for security operatives in their ongoing efforts to combat insecurity, emphasizing that peace was vital for national development. Mr. Abubakar made the call at the opening ceremony of the 45th International Trade Fair organized by the Kano State Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. He noted that improving the security situation in the country would lead to enhanced economic growth and development. The minister reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's commitment to restoring peace and stability and urged Nigerians to continue supporting the government with prayers while maintaining confidence in the security forces, whose unwavering dedication was crucial to sustaining their achievements. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on President Bola Tinubu to investigate the alleged diversion or theft of over 57 billion naira from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021. The organization also claimed that hundreds of billions of naira were reportedly missing from their ministries or the ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs. SERAP urged Tinubu to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, alongside relevant anti-corruption agencies to thoroughly probe these allegations. The claims are detailed in the 2021 audited report recently released by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The organization further urged the President to utilize any recovered funds to address the deficits in the 2025 budget and impose an immediate moratorium on government borrowing to alleviate Nigeria's mounting debt crisis. In a later dated November 23, 2024, signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, said the allegations amount to stealing from the poor. The governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has reaffirmed his commitment to ensuring a violence-free festive season, vowing to minimize the activities of cultists in the state. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Mr. Fred Itwa, in Benin City, the state capital, Governor Okpebholo stressed that security agencies were on high alert to ensure the safety of lives and property as the Yuletide approaches. The governor had directed security operatives to intensify their efforts to rid the state of criminals and cultists, particularly in Benin City. The National Examination Council, NECO, says it has accredited more foreign schools in a bid to expand its global presence. According to a statement by NECO's Acting Director of Public Relations, Mr. Aziz Sani, the accredited schools are in the Niger Republic and Equatorial Guinea. The examination body last year accredited some centers in Niger Republic to enable Nigerian students in the Francophone country sit for the examinations. In another development, candidates are participating in the ongoing NECO Senior School Certificate Examination, SSCE, external examinations in DIFA, the Niger Republic. According to the Council, the UNHCR School, DIFA, is the first NECO SSCE external center outside Nigeria. NECO examinations are now written by candidates in Benin Republic, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Niger Republic, Equatorial Guinea, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Family Court Division of the High Court in Ughelli Division in the state has commenced hearing in a suit seeking justice and protection of a 15-year-old schoolgirl allegedly trafficked by her mother for sex exploitation. The case, which was instituted by a Delta State-based child rights activist, Igorion Warun Agogo, came up at the court on Friday. Justice Mary Jessim Keme Akebota of the court gave an order appointing the proprietress of the Triumphal Model School, Efrun Ubia local government area, Margaret Ogorun, as a guardian to the child, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. She also granted an interim order restraining all parties in the suit from taking further steps in the matter, pending the hearing and determination of the suit, and thereafter adjourned the case till Friday, December 13. The mother of the victim had allegedly taken her to a sex trafficker at the B Land Hotel Efrun, from where the girl managed to escape and took refuge in the house of her school proprietress. We now go on a short break. When we return, we'll head straight to the foreign scene. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Dateline on Delta TV. Now straight to the foreign scene. As the 29th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP29, comes to an end, a finance deal reached at the annual Climate Change Summit to help poorer countries tackle climate change had been bitterly criticized, with climate activists calling for more action. Days of negotiations in Azerbaijan that extended the talks by more than 30 hours saw richer countries agree to raise their contributions to $300 billion a year by 2035. Western leaders welcomed the deal, with U.S. President Joe Biden saying it put the world one significant step closer to achieving its climate goals. However, the African group of negotiators described the deal as too little, too late, a feeling echoed by the representative from India, who dismissed the money as a paltry sum. Poorer countries had asked for $1.3 trillion to help them fight the climate battle. The two-week conference held in Baku, the Azerbaijan capital, had as theme investing in a livable planet for all. Now back home, the managing director of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, Mr. Akitunde Sonya, has said the federal government's student loan program is designed to boost productivity and happiness among Nigerian students. The managing director stated this when he visited Borno State to engage with students, educators, and government officials. According to the NEL Fund boss, the inability of students to meet their financial needs to fund their educational pursuits often leads to broader societal issues. Mr. Sonya underscored President Tinubu's commitment to revitalizing education in the country, stating that the loan program is also designed to reduce unproductivity and unhappiness among Nigerian students. He explained the loan's modalities, which include creating an online profile as a prerequisite for application, clarifying that the credit facility is interest-free and does not require a fixed repayment period, making it accessible and flexible for students. The NEL Fund, an initiative of President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope Agenda, aims to provide all higher institution students with access to financial resources, enabling them to pursue their educational goals and aspirations with ease. Now to the business world. Some commercial drivers in the country have decried low patronage by residents, attributing the situation to the economic challenges in the country. In an interview with Newsman, the drivers said the recent increase in the pump price of petrol by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, had worsened the situation, pointing out that the profits they got from the business had reduced since the federal government announced the removal of fuel subsidy and the subsequent increase of pump prices of the product. Some tricycle riders said the increase in fuel prices made them to increase the transportation fare, adding that it was not the fault of the drivers that fares had increased. They said they had observed that many residents, especially civil servants and students, had resorted to trekking to combat the situation, adding that they now hardly made enough gain as against when they used to make before the developments. Similarly, motor mechanics in the country have decried what they say is a significant drop in patronage of their services. The mechanics who spoke with newsmen in Warri South local government area, attributed the developments to the increase in the petroleum pump price. The artisans said it was unfortunate that fewer vehicles were now on the roads compared with the past, as many car owners had resolved to park their cars and take to public transportation in order to cut costs, adding that this meant fewer vehicles breaking down. They said the situation was biting hard on their trade, adding that no motor mechanic could boast of making good returns these days because of the low patronage. The mechanics appealed to the federal government to do the needful and work out modalities to effectively cushion the impacts of the subsidy removal on citizenry towards easing the prevailing economic crisis in the country. The current pump price of fuel ranges from 1,150 naira to 1,300 naira per litre in some of the retail outlets across the country. Away from business, the Delta State government, through the Awareness Creation Committee on Youth Enlistment in the Military and Paramilitary Services, had encouraged eligible Deltans to visit the Nigerian Air Force NAF official website to complete and submit applications for the 2024 Batch B of the Nigerian Air Force Direct Short Service Commission enlistment for university graduates. The Direct Short Service Commission is a type of commission in the Nigerian Air Force which is open to both civilians and serving military personnel. The course provides the avenue for the enlistment of university degree holders who are professionals in specified fields. The training period is usually 6 months of intensive military training, and successful candidates are commissioned into the rank of flying officers. A statement from the Delta State Orientation Bureau says applicants must not be more than 30 years by September 2025, with the exception of medical consultants who can be 25 to 40 years old and must be medically and mentally fit. Applicants must also have a minimum of 5 credits, including mathematics and English language, plus second-class upper division for degree holders and upper credit for HND holders, as well as NYSC discharge certificates. The statement adds that application forms and other details can be obtained online at www.nafrecruitment.airforce.mil.ng, while the closing date is November 26. Interested candidates have been requested to contact the Nigerian Air Force office telephone number 0990444444 in case for further inquiries. Now to some sports. Leicester City have sacked manager Steve Cooper following a poor run off from the Premier League club announced after a winless run left them hovering 2 points above the relegation zone. A 2-1 home loss to Chelsea, who are managed by their former coach Enzo Maresca, left Leicester 16th in the standings with 10 points after 12 games. Leicester said first-team coach Ben Dawson and coaches Danny Alcock and Andy Hughes will oversee training until they find a new manager. Cooper, sacked by Nottingham Forest last season, was appointed by Leicester in June to replace Maresca, who had taken the club straight back to the Premier League as they won the championship. Leicester began the season with a 1-1 draw at home to Tottenham Hotspur, but failed to record a win in the opening 6 league games. Successive victories over Bournemouth and Southampton last month had eased the pressure somewhat before 3 defeats in their last 4 games led to Cooper's downfall. A stoppage time penalty from Jordan Ayew in yesterday's game at home to Chelsea gave them hope of snatching a draw, but another loss proved too much for the club. Leicester's next game is away to Brentford on Saturday. Cooper, 44, is the second Premier League manager to be sacked this season after Manchester United parted ways with Erik ten Hag last month. Liverpool had to come from behind to claim a 3-2 win at Southampton in the Premier League on Sunday. The Reds knew that victory at St. Mary's would take them 8 points clear of Manchester City, who were humiliated 4-0 by Tottenham Hotspur yesterday. And they took the lead in the first half through Dominic Szoboszlai. However, the Saints fought back to take the lead thanks to Armstrong's penalty and a breakaway goal from Matheus Fernandes. But Mohamed Salah scored twice to ensure Liverpool took maximum points. And the Slotsmen will now face City at Anfield next weekend in what could be a decisive fixture in the title race. And that's it on Dateline, but before we go, our thoughts for the day. A healthy mind does not speak ill of others. True. Many thanks for your time. Thank you so much for staying with us. I am Esther Oputa. Do have a lovely night's rest. Good night.